Hello, and welcome to another Whispers of Willow with myself, Willow. This show is also associated with Willow's Witchy Den 101. Willow's Witchy Den is one of my old series, and 101 is a dedicated educational show that me and my sister Drew and Sister Mystical were doing and are hoping to bring back in the future. So I decided to do these shows, and I started off with episode 1, talking to you about Kananos, Hecate, and also talking to you about Samhain, the Halloween celebration. So this series is episode 2, series 1, and we are going to be talking today about the Hedge Witch. Very similar to the House Witch, Green Witch, she is a very extortionate and amazing energy to be working with. And when you're in this practice, it's all about being solitary, being electric, and being in your own power and your own energy. It's about following your own ways, desires, and what you believe is needed for our world and for everyone in it. The hedge witch, like most witches, are very misunderstood. A lot of us witches find ourselves under constant scrutiny and judgment. People putting videos, putting things out about us, saying things that are not true, saying that we're not of the light, but we are of the devil. We are not. We are of the light, we are warriors, and we are protectors of our land and of people. We believe in putting love and goodness into the world, and we do not believe in harming anybody. That is part of our script, that is part of who we are. So for me, I think these educational shows are really important to do, to help those that are coming into witchcraft, wanting to understand witchcraft and become part of it, for those that are just wanting to be refreshed and to reconnect, and for those that just fancy having a show to watch. We're here for all of you. And we're also here to show you that witches really are not what people make us out to be. We're not these evil, unknowing beings that cast upon doom and horrid things to our world. We are the complete opposite. And I think that these shows are really important. And I really like the Hedge Witch. I believe we all have a part of that. The Kitchen Witch, the Green Witch. We all love the outside as witches. We all love to make and create things in the kitchen. We like to make our home our secret place, our safe place. And this is very much what a Hedge Witch is like, as well as a Green Witch, a House Witch, a Kitchen Witch. They're very much about being at home, having their practice at home. A lot of them will be on their own. Yes, they have friends, they have people around them that they may work with on occasions, but mainly they're known for working on their own. They are people that have high knowledge about nature, about the universe, and about the world. They have an understanding of how nature works, how it connects. They do many amazing things. So today we are going to be talking about them, and I do believe that they are one of the witches that you really do deserve to be able to understand and know more about. So with my knowledge and with obviously studying in education and stuff that I've been looking into, to be able to just bring you the best possible information and understanding of what a hedge witch is, I've been working really hard so that I could do that for you. And I hope that you do enjoy this show. And I hope that you realise what we're saying. I will put it very clear to you that if you're going to be coming into the craft, then you've got to be prepared for people's views and what they think of you. You've not got to let that trouble you or upset you. Just stick to who you are and be who you want to be. There is no right and wrong in the craft. There is no evil. Okay, so just be you. Do not let other people put you off. Just work in your element, work in your way. It doesn't matter what people that do not understand us think. Okay, so we are going to get into the show. So I'm going to have the camera and everything off when I'm doing this, and I'm going to have some pictures coming up, and you can have a look at that. You can take notes, make sure you've got your pens, your paper, so you can write down any information, anything that you want. As I said to you, your magic is your own. It's okay to take advice and to follow us and take that knowledge, But when it comes to making your practice and doing your spells and your crafting and your education, make it your own. You don't need to be like anyone else. We're not supposed to be the same. But I am literally here doing these shows to give you guidance so that you get the confidence to move forward in your craft and make your craft your own. So let's get into the show, and lots of love, light, and blessings to you all. I hope that you have had a lovely Christmas and a very happy new year for 2026. May it bring us many blessings, light, and love. And may we continue to be the amazing spiritual and witchy folk that we are. Embrace your power, your ethnic way. This is who you are. So let's start this. So I'm going to start by giving you just a little script and detail into what a hedge witch is and things like that. So there is a column that I'd found really, really cool, and I think it really describes the hedge witch and her practice, his practice, really, really well. Okay, so let's get into it. The hedge witch. Who is the hedge witch? Now, this is a question that is asked a lot, and this is the answer. A hedge witch is someone who practices the craft on their own. The hedge witch is known for keeping their practices secret to them. These witches travel between the worlds through the art of hedge riding, and who prefers a simpler path in the wider world of witchcraft. Hedge, who prefers a hedge. Witchcraft is crafting one's life in a magical way that reflects the talents and the abilities of the practitioner. A hedge witch is someone who has knowledge in the contrary ways. They are talented in knowing weather patterns, herbalism, animal husbandry, and much more. The term hedge witch was brought to life by the author Ray Beth in her book Hedgewitch, A Guide to Solitary Witchcraft in 1992. She took the term hedge witch from the previous label of hedge priest, one who preaches from the hedgerows and who had no physical place for a congregation. During the Reformation, Calvinist priests held open-air services out of the reach of the authorities. This was a renegade. A solitary is a priestess who or priest who didn't follow the rules, and this still appeals to many practitioners of today. This is myself included. I do have some hedge witch traits too. A hedge witch is known to be a bit of a alchemist. They prefer to work alone, and they work their craft daily, honoring their skills and always wanting to learn more. They are known to think differently from those around them a lot of the time. They are known for seeing spirits, and they talk with their ancestors. They are known for talking to plants and animals, and they certainly walk their talk in all they do. They always take full responsibility for everything that they do, and they choose very carefully in all that they do also. Hang on, just going down. They revere the natural world around them. They may not necessarily view their path as a religion or spirituality. To the hedge witch, the path may simply be one of life's work, a way of life. that honours the cycles of nature without needing the label or religion or spirituality attached. Some hedge witches may honour gods and goddesses if they please. Being a hedge witch is for those who wish to honour the world around them in a simple, everyday way, using simple, everyday practices and rituals to live a life that incorporates the spiritual and the mundane into their lives, which is very practical and efficient for them. It's all about what works for them. There is so much more to hedge witchcraft than to simply work the craft alone. They are imbued with the loyal knowledge of the natural world around them, knowing about wildness of nature and growing many things. They're aware of the cycles and they are aware of the seasons. Many of us witches simply see hedge witchcraft as the path of a solitary witch. There are other practitioners who go deeper into the tradition, discovering the liminal nature of the work held deep within the tradition. It's the art of hedge riding, walking between worlds, being able to find the liminal places, and they travel the paths that lead to deeper wisdom and knowledge. The boundaries between this world and the other world are manifold. You only have to know where to look. Hedges are liminal places. Demerging one place from another, from the homestead to the wilderness, are wonderful places that can be used for just such as Endovia. To go through the hedge was to travel into another world. They follow their hearts into the wilds to receive information to bring back into our world. It is to step outside of the known and into the unknown. Hedge riding is often performed in the astral plane. It can also be done by walking the landscape with the right state of consciousness and awareness. Their witchcraft is a simple but secret path. Their tradition is both practical and spiritual. They believe there's no need for flashy ritual tools, ceremonial robes, or grand titles, and weighty magical tomes. All these things might appeal to some. For the hedge witch, it's about the practicality of the work. It is not less spiritual, inspirational, or magical for its simplicity. It is honest and works very much with a no frills attitude. They do not command the elements and do big showy rituals. They do not call and dismiss the elements and spirits. They are respectful. They have deep respect and have a ever-growing relationship with the fair folk and other beings. They meet in other worlds. They walk their journeys. They help to bring back knowledge and understanding into their own practice and to people that they want to educate. They treat others as they wish to be treated, whether they are of this world or the other world. Hedge witchcraft is a very natural path which uses the energies of the natural world to help create a more beneficial state for all. They believe what we take, we also give back. They know what really matters to them. They try to take nothing for granted. They know that there is more to this world than meets the eye. They are very knowledgeable. They are willing to explore that, armed with their knowledge and wits. with courage and with fortitude. This is the path of Hedgewitch craft. It's a truly remarkable practice to be part of. You become very connected and intertwined with the energy of the natural world and the energies that are within it and in the spiritual world. It is most definitely a secret and personal practice, a practice that you don't just use in your craft aspect, but also in everyday and personal life and in your home. It's a deep and personal practice that's followed with respect and honor in all things and life and our world. So that is a little bit about what a hedge witch is. They are very knowledgeable characters. They can walk between worlds, as many witches can do that sort of thing. They walk between worlds, they can communicate with spirit, they can communicate with animal, they can communicate with energy and spirit of the natural world. They understand the deep understanding of the natural world. I do have parts of Hedgewitch in me as well. So I am very connected to nature, and I have a deep understanding for nature. So I do carry their aspects in that way. I understand that in the world and in the natural world that everything has a spirit because everything is growing and living. And I am very aware that they have feeling, they can talk, they can communicate, and they can do many things. For many people in this world, they believe that nature and the natural world is just a place to enjoy and to walk. But have you ever considered that when you've been stressed or you've been upset or things have happened to you, you decide you want to go out for a walk? 9 times out of 10, you always end up walking in a woodlands or a forest or a nature resort. You find yourself starting to become calm, connected. Your mind and how you're thinking becomes clear. When you're not feeling great or you're feeling unwell, it seems to lift. It's because nature is a true healer. And nature is in us. We are part of nature. We are part of Mother Earth. And us hedge witches understand that importance. We understand that everything in this world lives, is connected, and is one. We are very, very sure in working on our own and being solitary. We like to be in our own ethnic way, power, and in our own craft. We don't like to be taught and led by others. If anything does lead us, it's our spirituality, it's our belief, and it's our trust in our craft. And obviously those that we work with, such as deities and energies, which not all hedge witches do. Some hedge witches simply just use their magic, use the elements of who they are. Others will use deities. It really does depend on the practitioner, her or himself, and what they feel is right for their practice. So this is why I say it's really key to do your education, your research, and your studying, so you can understand the elements in the different types of witches. You may find that you have aspects from many different witches that you link to and feel that you're connected to. So therefore you would be an eclectic or a solitary witch, somebody that works maybe on their own and maybe has a few that you trust and will work with if you need to. Like myself, I'm very much an eclectic and solitary witch, but I do have sisters of the craft that I work with and trust with my heart 100%. And they are the only people that I will go to and confide in when I need to. But most of my work revolves around me working on my own, trusting on my own instinct, my own gut feeling, and learning through my deities. I am somebody that works with deities and energies, and I have many aspects of the craft that I believe in, not just one aspect. So even though I say I have traits of hedge witch, I also have traits of nature witch, crystal witch, moon witch. That's why I am an eclectic witch. An eclectic witch is somebody that's open to all forms of practices in the craft. Most of these witches will do the correct way in working as well, working with only the light and the goodness. Now, anybody that is a witch knows that really there is not a white or a black or a grey witch. A witch is a witch. What makes the craft evil is not the craft itself, but the intentions and the actions of the practitioner that performs it. Most witches do not believe in harming, do not believe in doing evil. We do not sacrifice and give things to the devil. We believe in repelling that and removing that. We understand his energy. We respect that his energy is there and that he has a purpose to work for, but we do not work with him. We work with the light energy, the good energy. We work in our own ethnic way, the way our Creator made us to be able to reach out to others, to be able to protect our world, our natural world, and all that lives within it. We are people that have wisdom about nature, wisdom about seasons, the universe, many things. That does not make us evil. That just makes us connected. And this is why these shows are really important, because I know that a lot of people were going to be thinking about coming into this, but they've maybe seen videos and stuff up saying about witches and that they're bad and they're this. Don't listen to that. These are people that are uneducated in what witchcraft really is. They go by what they read in structured religion. But what they seem to forget, that a lot of the faiths that they follow and have rule and have control in now actually started from our witch way, paganism. All that was done is that over time witches were respected and loved. Then they were cast aside and looked at as being evil because they started to find their own power and way to be. People did not like that when they started to bring religion in, and they see us witches as something that was untoward and not of this world. So therefore they started to demonize us, say that we were part of demonic energy, that we were part of the devil, that we were part of this. But what people don't seem to realize is that in these religious faiths, even though I have no qualm against any religion, there are religions that took what we do and changed that to how they think a religion should be, bringing in control, bringing in that aspect that you're not free to be who you want to be, that you need to talk to them and ask them permission to do certain things. Hello, wake up. This is your world, and you are free to be who you want to be, to speak how you want to be. And remember that nobody can tell you how to act. Many of these religions, these more 21st century religions, have took a lot of what they've got from what we once were, changed it up, demonized us, pushed our craft out, and then continue to use our craft, use our ways, but change it so it doesn't look so much like it. And I think it's really important to understand that. And even today, some of them still use certain practices that are very apparent in the witchcraft. And this is why I try to explain and say things such as, but you put Christmas trees and decorations up. This was a pagan way. You still follow those traditions, you just changed them. That is simply what they did. They changed traditions that were once real and here. And they believed that by doing that, they'd pushed us beings that are witches out. And I hate to say this, but you didn't push us out. You did not quieten us. You did not stop us from being who we want to be. You simply grew our flame, our fire, and our faith to become stronger, to show people what we really are, to put to bed all of these malicious lies and other things that you say. So if you are somebody that's coming into the craft and you're second guessing this because you're worried about the stigma and the problems that you're going to get, let it go over your head. Do not let it stop you from being who you are. People are so uneducated about witchcraft that they'll speak and say anything that they want, but they simply just do not realize that the Creator created all of us. They made us all to be individually different. A lot of these call themselves holy and that they walk in the light and the energy. But how do you walk in the light and the energy when you cuss and you bring down others that are not quite like you? Is it not that God says that no one shall judge but him, but yet you are doing the very thing he does not agree in, according to your Bible or any other spiritual book? Even in our craft, when we sit and we question and we speak eerily against people, we are going against what our divine is learning us to be. I am not talking against any faith or religion. I have respect for all faith and religion. What I don't have respect for is some of the people in those religions, even in the craft, that think that it's okay to bring other people down and make people feel that they're not good enough or that they're bad and that they shouldn't be befriended. This is not the work of the holy light. This is the work of selfishness, control, and obedience. Something that's not needed. So going into the second part of the Hedgewitch, I hope that this part helped you to understand a little bit more about the Hedgewitch. I hope this part helped you to see into the window of a Hedgewitch and what she does and what her practice is about. It's about having your own energy, having your own connections. It's about walking between worlds and having an understanding about the natural world and the world itself. These practitioners are very secret, very calm, and very together. And you'll find a lot that when you're around these sort of people, you feel a lot of positive and good energy. You feel a lot of magical energy when you're around these sort of people. They are remarkable practitioners. And I do know a few that, do hedge witchery as along with other things as well. And like I said, myself, I do have my beliefs in hedge witchery as well. So this was the first part, and we are going to be moving on to the second part of hedge witchery, which is where we're going to be talking about the efficiency of hedge witchery, how they do their crafts, what's expected of them, things that they're connected to, all of the information that you need to help you to be able to be in your own ethnic way and do your own practice, pretty much. Okay, so this is just going to show you an insight into how it is to be a hedge witch, and the things to expect when becoming one. This is a bit Christmassy, but this is showing the hedge witch. You've got your witches, they're using all of the natural things of the world and flowers, plants, connecting with animals. Then you've got the more normal witch, the one that connects spiritually as well. But in fact, all witches are witches. We all have traits of many different ways. That may just be that some witches have one faith that they follow more than any other. If you're like me, then you have many faiths, some ways that you follow, and you find aspects from all of them and you bring them in to make your practice your own. And that is what you're supposed to do, make your practice your own. So going into part 2, the hedge witch. There are a lot of different belief systems from modern paganism and other witch practices. One practice that's seen a growth in popularity is the path of the hedge witch. There is a lot of practitioners, a lot of new beginning witches coming in and wanting to take the hedge witch path because it's simple and yet effective, because it melts in and works with your daily life, because they are not boring, they are just simple. Okay, and they like the practices to be easy to do but yet meaningful and powerful. And believe me, their practices are, and they follow a lot of ancient way and ancient knowledge. They have a lot of knowledge about the natural world, which is what makes them a critical practitioner in the craft. Okay, so there are a lot of different systems and beliefs in all forms of witchcraft and practices. Okay, but there is a growth in popularity of the hedge witch. A lot of people are starting to seek this practice as something for them to begin in. Although there are a lot of different definitions of what a hedge witch is and does, you'll find that for most part there are a lot of work with herbal magic, as well as an emphasis for nature and love for nature. A hedge witch might work with gods and goddesses, perform healing and shamanic actions, or work with the changing seasons. So the path of the hedge witch is as eclectic as those who practice it. It's a very open practice where you can bring in any other form of practice into it. You can make it your own, as I said. So some key takeaways about hedge witchcraft and what I feel that you need to know. Hedge witchcraft is usually practiced by solitaries and involve a deep study of plants and the natural world, oils, all these sort of things. The term hedge witch is a homage to the wise woman of the old, who often lived on the outskirts of villages beyond the hedge. Hedge witches typically find magical intent in routine and day-to-day activities and life. Some of the history about hedge witches. Ask any modern hedge witch and they'll probably tell you that the reason they call themselves a hedge witch is an homage to the past. In days gone by, witches, often women, but not always, lived along the fringes of a village, behind the hedgerows. On one side of the hedge was the village and civilization, but on the other lay the unknown and the wild. Typically, these hedge witches served a dual purpose and acted as healers or cunning women, and that involved a lot of time gathering herbs and plants in the woods and fields, and you guessed it, the hedges too. The hedge witch of old usually practices alone and lived magically day to day. Simple acts like brewing a pot of tea or sweeping the floor were infused with magical ideas and intentions. Perhaps most importantly, the hedge witch learned her practice from older family members or mentors and honoured her skills through years of practice, trial and error. These practices are sometimes referred to as greencraft and are highly influenced by folk customs. So, what is the hedge witch's magical practices and beliefs? Let's tell you. Similar to the practices of the kitchen witchcraft, the hedge witch often focuses on the hearth and home as the center of magical activity. The home is the place of stability and grounding, and the kitchen itself is a magical place. It's defined by energy of the people who live in the house. For the hedge witch, the home is typically seen as a sacred space. If the home is the core of the practice, the natural world forms the roots of it. A hedge witch typically spends lots of time working on herbal magic and often learns associated skills like herbal medicine or aromatherapy. This practice is deeply personal and spiritual. A hedge witch doesn't just have jars or plants. Chances are good that she grew or gathered them herself, harvested them and dried them, and has experimented with them to see what they can and cannot do. All the while, she has been writing down her notes for future references for herself and for those that may follow her way. So, some information on how to follow and how to practice hedge witchery. Okay, there are plenty of ways to incorporate hedge witchcraft into your daily life, and most of them involve simple actions like living mindfully and magically. Look at some domestic tasks from a spiritual perspective. Whether you're cooking dinner or cleaning the bathroom, focus on the sacredness of the action. Baking bread for your family. Fill the bread with your love. Also speak to your house. Yes, that's right, talk to it. Your home is a place of magical energy. So when you walk in after a day at work, greet your house. Do the same when you're leaving. Make sure you tell your house goodbye and that you will return soon. Your house is an energy of its own, and an energy that protects and keeps you safe. All of your daily day tasks that you would normally do, like your hoovering, making a tea or coffee, you would put your intentions in when you're doing that. For instance, you're in your home and you're wanting to put protection or love to your family or to you or to someone that you know is in a difficult time, and you're making a cup of tea. So what do? That person's sitting there and is needing that love and that guidance and that help. So what do? You think about them healing, and you think about giving them protection. So you will stir in a clockwise motion, bringing in that positive and good energy. These are all forms of magic, and simple magic that you can use every day. When you're having a bath and you're running a bath and you want to just give yourself a bit of a cleanse, or you want to protect yourself, or you're wanting to put a specific thing that's bothering you into that water, you would do it clockwise for bringing in things that are good for you, and you would do anti-clockwise to remove anything that's not good for you. These are all forms of magic. Walking around, hoovering, cleaning your house. While you're doing that, you could be thinking about intentions of maybe something that a friend needs, or a loved one needs, or yourself. You can put energy into your home, give your energy of love and goodness to your home. You will go round and you will cleanse, and you will keep your place secret and open to your energy and to your power. So you do everyday tasks, but you make those tasks magical using your intention and using your way of thought. Magic starts with manifestation and believing. It's not the tools that you use that makes the magic, it's yourself. Another thing that's really important to do is to get to know the spirits of the land and the places around you. Work with them and invite them into your life with song, poems, and offerings. The more you open yourself up to them, the more likely they will be to offer you gifts and protection when you need it. In addition to studying the plants that grow around your immediate area, if you don't have a garden or a yard, that's okay. Plants grow everywhere. What is native to your planting zone? Have a look at that. What plants grow in your area? What plants are distinct? Are there public woods or gardens in which you can explore, study, and do your witchcraft? Look for places that will relate and connect to you. If you are somebody that's hedge, which a lot of them do go out, they will foliage and they will pick things up that they want. They will do that, bring stuff home, and then they intend to try to grow these things themselves, bringing their garden to a more magical and spiritual purpose. Hedge witches will also be practitioners that also work and connect with the energies and the spirit of the plants, trees, and any material that they're using. Hedge witches are all about connection and communication, because through connection and communication is where your real wisdom and knowledge and true way comes. Hedge witches believe in this a lot, including myself. The practice of witchcraft might be something for you to explore if you're drawn to certain aspects of the natural world. Are you someone who feels more at home in the outdoors and drawn to nature with a strong connection to herbs and trees and plants? Do you prefer to work your magic alone rather than in a group setting? Do you have an interest in folklore and in expanding your own knowledge through research and experimentation? If so, the path of hedge witchery might be right up your road and alley. So look into it, research, find out about it, and see if it does fit you. I do apologise for the sniffing, guys. I am a little bit bunged up again today. Right, coming into the next part. Sorry guys, I'm having to go down. I do write everything that I do down. So yeah, that might be right up your alley if you're into those sort of things. If you love animals, if you like to just do natural work, if your home is your place of secrecy and, you know, calmness and protection, then it, you know, that your place, your home, your hearth is most definitely your place. Another thing that as well, hearth is normally known as the hearth or the hearth, okay, which can also be your fireplace and things. Somewhere where it's practical, where you can burn your logs and do whatever you're doing. So it is a perfect place. Your home is the most secret place and where you have your true connection. So I can see why us witches, especially hedge witches, do prefer to do their work in their home or in the natural world. So hedge witches perform magic focused on the hedge or boundaries between physical and spiritual worlds, using practices like communicating with spirits, divinization, and herbalism. Their spells often involve practices such as nature-based magic, such as healing, charm bags, and protective rituals, alongside more ethnical practices like using flying ornaments and trance techniques to journey to other realms, meditation, all of those sort of things. So some of the magic and the spells. Spirit and altered state magic is one of the ways that hedge witches use a lot. And they will communicate with spirits such as ancestors and land spirits to be able to communicate, to bring wisdom, to bring knowledge, and to bring more power into their craft. They are also known for journeying into other worlds through trance state activities by meditation, breath work, or using flying ornaments. Okay, so they are very much about walking between worlds. Now, a lot of us witches know that the between worlds is walking in nature, really. There are always pathways and doorways in nature, but you can also have those pathways and doorways in your home when you are open and connecting to the spirit realm. Okay, so journeying to other realms and other worlds are something that hedge witches and many other witches actually do on a daily basis. And we do use things such as meditation and breath work and using flying ornaments. So, you know, envisioning things, envisioning yourself flying, envisioning yourself being brought into another place, you know, telepathically or through mind vision. Like there are so many different ways that witches, but especially hedge witches, do their work and connect. And you know, these are some of the most common rituals and spells that they would work with. Because in reality, you know, yes, you can have meditation and things and breath work for helping you to just heal and stuff, but also these practices are used in our craft as well to gain information and knowledge, to gain that connection, that understanding, and to be in the true ethnic power that we're needing to gain and see. So there are many different ways. Another way is divination. Divination is another form that hedge witches and many witches use, which is practicing divination and gaining insight and guidance. They will also use these techniques to help find lost or stolen goods, to be able to look into situations and problems. They will use things such as dowsing rods and pendulums, tarot cards, oracle cards, um, crystal balls. They may do tea leaf reading, any sort of form of connection where we are communicating with the other side and with the natural world. We will use those practices daily in our practices. And as a hedge witch, this is something they do a lot. And as I said, I do have some of those traits. And divination is definitely one that I enjoy. I do tarot readings. I am a reader and I use pendulums and I use dowsing rods. And I also use myself because I have gifts as well. That's another thing to always remember as well. You're a divination tool in yourself, okay? If you're open and you're connected and you're able to communicate, to connect to other worlds, to nature and things, then you are a tool of divination yourself, okay? And you will be very much used as well. So always bear that in mind. So other magical practices they use is herbal and nature magic. Okay, this is very popular for hedge witches, using natural items like herbs for healing and other magical purposes, creating charm bags or protection or other effective elements that, if somebody comes to them asking for a specific thing to be done, they will make charm bags, jars, anything like that to give to the person to help them. They incorporate folklore and local ecosystems into the practice. They are very ecosystem friendly. The hedge witch believes in the natural world. They do not believe in putting plastic and putting bad materials into their world. So they will do things like recycling. They will do things that make the environment around them more safer and more efficient for their practices and safe for the world. Okay, so they're very much about that and using natural items to be able to manifest the things that they're wanting and to use for magical purposes and help. And they will use and make jars and charm bags, little ornaments, little symbols that go up on walls. They are very known for doing those sort of things. They do everything naturally. They make everything. That is what they believe in. They are also very known for practical and protective magic, performing simple, practical spells and rituals for everyday needs. So, such as protection in the home, cleansing the home, giving somebody a bit of luck in your family, sending a bit of love in a spell to your family. All these sort of things they incorporate every day. They find that it's really important to do that to keep that system of their craft the way that they want it to be, so that they can be in their true and ethnic way. So they use these sort of things on a daily basis so that they feel that calm and peacefulness in their practice. They are also known for breaking hexes or performing protective magic to ward away anything evil or bad. Hedge witches are all about calmness and connection and togetherness. They do not like untamed and ungood energy around them. So they will perform on a daily basis rituals, spells, and things to keep them from that. They are known for doing a lot of performing spells such as magic, luck, love, abundance, strength, self love, determination. They are like many other witches, they will perform any category that's asked of them as long as it is respectful and within their element to do. It is said also that hedge witches are known for shape shifting. Okay, now don't think that means shape shifting in the form that you're going to see her stand there 1 minute and be one thing and then change in another. Some hedge witches are associated with shamanic traditions, okay? This is where the shape-shifting comes into it, okay? And the ability to shape-shift into animal forms, such as the hare for protection or to journey to other realms. So when we come into our spiritual practices and we're wanting to travel to a realm and that, sometimes we will shape-shift in our spiritual form into an energy that gets us there quicker or easier. This is what is said to happen with hedge witches. Okay, hedge witches normally very much follow the tradition of shamanic traditions as well, which is your native traditions and Indian traditions and things like that. They are very connected to land. They are very big believers in manifestation, shape shifting and things like that. So hedge witches are often known to do these things and have these links to these other practices as well. Hedge witches use tools drawn from nature and the physical world, such as herbs, stones, feathers, and bones, for creating amulets, poisons, and spells. They also use ritual tools common in witchcraft, including your cauldron, your knife, which is known as an anthem, your wand, your chalice, and your altar, to focus the energy and to create secret space. Even though they are known more for being at home and working in nature, they do still use those practices. They do still use witch objects such as your cauldrons, your anthems, your wands, chalices, altars. Some of them will use gods and goddesses. It really does depend on the practitioner. Okay, so yes, there are still those aspects like other witches that they use, but they are very known for being secret, for being in practice the true way, as they believe. Okay, they're very much about making potions, making creams, and creating amulets and protective things to go around your home. They'll use a lot of common ritual tools, herbs and stuff that they get from nature and from the physical world is something they do on a daily basis. They gain their magic, their power through using the elements from nature and from the natural world and the physical world. And through that is where their power is, because they have that deep knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So they're able to connect in a very deep way that way. And they will always have a created secret space, a space just for them to be able to be themselves, to be able to connect, and to be able to perform how they want to. You will normally find that with these types of witches as well, that their family normally follow the same way. So their children, husbands would normally be similar, or you'd have a really understanding husband or wife. But you would grow your children to be the same way, to understand, to respect, and to love, to nature, and learn them about how they can manifest things into life to make life better, and easier to deal with. So some of the tools from nature that they use: herbs, stones, feathers, and bones gathered from the environment. These are used for their inherent energy in spells, talismans, and poisons and potions. Okay. Now, when we say poisons, we don't mean poisons as in something that's going to hurt people. What we mean is flowers and plants and elements of trees that maybe are not so well known, and they can be used for spiritual practices, but there wouldn't be things that you would be able to take in or eat or anything like that. They would just be things that you would use for things such as your protection, to keep away negative energy, warding off negative energy. Um, some of these might be used for more in-depth spells, like if somebody has got a problem with a person and they're doing really bad things to them and their family, then these poisons and potions and things may be made to remove that energy and that problem and things like that. Okay, so they normally use the herbs, the stones, and the feathers and the bones to inherit the energy of nature into their spells. Okay, because as I have explained to you, the hedge witch very much is connected to the natural world, and that's where she gains her source and her energy from, as well as her home. Her home becomes part of nature. You will find that in her home she will have things to do with nature hanging up on her wall. She may have plants hanging and drying, things like that, which a lot of witches do as well. But you will find that with a hedge witch, that is more what it is. You'd walk into a home and she would have a lot of that stuff around. So there's always that element of nature in her life, or his life, all the time. So they use all of that energy to gain their power and to do the spells. Plants are very, very important and are used to create teas. They're used for dreaming, smudging, bundles, for clearing energy, and shelves, and oils for anointing. So they use herbs for pretty much everything, even in their cooking, when they're baking, all sorts of things. And all you do is, when you're putting those herbs and those energies in, you think of what those energies are connected to. So obviously when you're going into witchcraft and you're learning about different herbs, you will look at what each herb gives you magically. Okay, they are always connected to magical purposes. Now you would use your intention when you pick that herb up, and you would use elements that you know that is connected to, that you feel you need to use, and you put that into your food, that put that into your spells. Okay, so it's all about understanding herbs, knowing their purposes, knowing their connections and their properties, what they give spiritually, and bringing that into your work. So some of the core ritual tools that hedge witches use are altars, a secret space to another. No, altar, a secret space that anchors the practice, often decorated with fond objects from nature and personal items. So they would have personal items on there. They would have their items connected to witchcraft on there. They would normally have their altars decorated up with things from nature and the natural world and the wild world. So you would have things like acorns and pine cones, leaf garlands, little flower posies, things like that. They will always have elements of nature and the natural world on their altars. They also use cauldrons, which will be used for brewing potions, scrying sometimes, and holding offerings, and also for performing your magic and your spells, because everybody knows that the cauldron is the womb of the goddess. She is what births all that you wish and you manifest, okay? So yes, cauldron is very important. Then you have your knife, known as an anthem, used for direct energy and performing other magical tasks. An anthem is normally used for casting and closing circles, for calling in energy, for cutting away energy, opening and shutting doorways when you're doing your ritual circles. Also, it can be used for certain tools and certain materials that you may be using. You may use it to cut these things, putting that energy into them. So an anthem is a really, really cool and really important thing. And a lot of the witches do have anthems. Not all of them, but some of them do. Others will use their wands. Some have got both, like myself. Okay. So the next one, again, is a wand, a tool for directing magical energy, calling on spirits for connection, casting spells, opening and closing circles, directing energy and power into your spells, your rituals, and your craft directly. Your chalice is used for holding ritual drinks or offerings. So offerings that you would give to your deities, your energies, your ancestors, your elders that you work for. You would give them an offering of wine or juice or water, milk, whatever they are into. And it's also for holding drinks for rituals. So when you're doing rituals, you would take a bit of that drink, they would take a bit of that drink as well. Normally you would bring in food and stuff as well, like cakes or bits of bread, little things that you can share between you and your deities and energies that you're working with. Okay, a censer for burning incense to create a secret atmosphere. So your incense burners, there are all shapes, sizes, and ways when it comes to incense burners. So having your incense burners and having burners and incense are something that the Hedgewitch and many other witches use on a daily basis, okay, to cleanse homes, to bring protective energy, to amplify a spell, to honor a full moon or a crescent moon. There are incense for just about everything. Okay, so you're always going to have an energy and an incense that you can find that's going to be perfect for any part of your craft. Okay, and always make sure that you get a censer, which is the holder that will hold your incense. Okay, whether these are cones, sticks, or resin, whatever, there are different types of censers you can buy. Another really important thing that they use are candles. These are used for light and to represent various energies or correspondences in a ritual. So candles can be used to call upon certain energies and deities. Colours will be incorporated to them. Candles can be used to bring protection and to open circles and close circles. Candles will bring out different types of energy depending on the colours and what they are specifically put for. Candles can also be used as well to put different herbs and oils on to amplify and to bring out that energy of your craft, your spell, and your ritual. Candles are a must have. You will find that most witches will use candles in some form through their practice. Then you have your grimoire. or your shadow books, okay? A personal book for recording spells, observations, and magical information. So I have heard that a lot of people try to say that the grimoire and the shadow book are the same thing. For some of you, you believe that and you'll use it for the same purpose. But I'm one of these witches that believe that the grimoire and the shadow book are completely the opposite, okay? Your grimoire is where you put all your personal and your empowered rituals, sayings, scripts, and openings and closings in your practice, where your shadow book is more where you write your spells, you write your intentions, and things you're wishing to bring into your life, where your grimoire is more your structured part of it, where you will write all of your ritual prayer wordings and scripts and ways. In both of these books as well, you will probably write down things about your observations, what you've picked up when you've done meditation and done other spiritual ways to connect. You would write down any information or anything that you get through your practices and from your deities. So these books are very much about you noting down all that you have experienced, all that you have done. These books are for writing down spells and practices that you've performed and know have worked. Okay, and this is a way for you to be able to keep that information secret, and it's also something that you can hand down to future generations in your family, allowing them to continue that path and secret way of your craft. So hedge witches incorporate magic into their homes by viewing the hearth as home, as a secret centre, and infusing everyday domestic tasks with intention. This practical, nature-based approach often includes herbalism, spirit work, and creating a harmonious living space that supports their spiritual practice and beliefs. Okay, it's normally a very calm, secret place, very connected and very open. Okay, but only open in their own energy. In having the home, the hearth, as your secret space, it means that you can do your everyday tasks using your intention and your manifestations and things that you're wanting. And it's practical, it's easy, and it's you. Okay, you don't need to do these spontaneous, really flamboyant rituals and spells if that's not what you want to do. You can make it as simple and as easy as you want. Once you've done your research, your study, and your understanding, you will come to understand these things and you will come to understand how you want to do your craft. For me, even though I do like a practical and easy way of magic, I do love doing my rituals and doing my spell work and things like that. So I do quite extravagant things at times. But that's just me. That doesn't mean that everybody else has to be the same. The whole key for being a witch in general, but especially a hedge witch, is just living in your space comfortably, doing your practice to your standard, and being true to your work and to who you are, and never letting anybody else tell you how to act or how to be. Be yourself. So some of the key practices is mindful chores. Simple household tasks are transformed into magic acts. Sweeping the floors can be a way to clear negative energy, and cooking a meal, sometimes called kitchen witchery, is an opportunity to infuse food with love and healing properties for the family and other things. Obviously, there are many things that we face in life, and you can put that intention of helping in that situation into your food, when you're mopping, when you're cleaning, when you're running a bath, when you're making a cup of tea, anything. Okay. Herbal integration. Herbs and plants are central in the practice of hedge witchery. Witches grow their own in gardens or pots and use them for cooking, healing remedies, teas, salves and oils, cleansing bundles, and general decor to bring natural energy and specific magical properties into the home. Herbs are essential in any witch's life, not just a hedge witch, but a hedge witch is really known for herbs, but in general, witches love to use herbs for making jars, making pouches, for hanging around their home because they've got spiritual significance that keeps your home safe, protected. Um, you would have them for other things, such as using in your cooking, for healing remedies, for making in teas and salves and oils, for making cleansing bundles to cleanse your home, to keep energy that you're not wanted out, for general decor, so that your house can look inviting and beautiful and show your true ethnic way as a witch. Okay, and this, by doing this, brings in the natural energy of the natural world and helps to bring that property of energy that we need to work in our craft. So it's really important to incorporate that in your home, whether you're a hedge witch or a normal witch. It's really good to have herbs and things around you because it brings that natural energy of our natural world and our magical world into our lives every day. So, the next one is obviously your spirit work and offerings that hedge witches and witches will 9 times out of 10 use in their practices. The home is a place for connecting with household deities, ancestors, and the genius Loki, spirits of the place. This can involve setting up a small ancestor altar or simply greeting the house when arriving and leaving meaningful and important offerings like flowers or organic foods in and outside. Okay, so that the spirits that are in your home, the spirits that are associated to your lands, are shown honor and respect. This will form relationships with these energies as well, allowing you to have a deeper connection with them and with the natural world. This will then become a relationship where they will help you in your practices, they will protect you, and they will do things to help you. The really important thing to understand as a witch, whatever type of witch you are, that connecting with spirit energy is a key thing. Okay, connecting with natural energy of our world and lands is a key thing. That's how we're able to gain that wisdom, that knowledge, and to be true in our faith and in our crafting that we do. Okay, and there are so many ways. You don't just have to do some of these things that I've made you here today. You could be an artist and you do artwork as well. You can incorporate your energy into your artwork, into your musical work, into anything. That's what's magical about spell work and crafting, that it can be used in all forms. So spell work for spiritual work is key, and it's always key to give offerings whenever you're working with any energy or deity, or even your home, and you're using those things to be able to incorporate your power, your energy, and to get what you want. Always remember to leave them offerings, because if they're helping you, you should always give back. That's what's really important. Mutual understanding and respect and honor is always important in your practice. So never ever ask for something and not give something back, whether this is a spirit, fae folk, dragons, land spirits, nature spirits, spirits of the high divine realm of heaven, or below, whatever, never ever expect to be helped and not give back. Always give back. The next thing that's really important is your secret space and altars. For a hedge witch, that's really important, but for any witch in general, your secret space and your altars are very important. I'm not saying that every witch in the world has altars, but they do have a secret space for connection and for opening. So while the whole home is considered secret to a hedge witch, specific areas might be designed for altars or ritual work. These spaces are often adorned with natural items like stones, feathers, and bones, chosen for their specific energies and associations to their practice and needs for that day. Okay, so they will have spaces and places open. They will build areas in their home that is specifically for them to connect and to be open and to be their true self. Okay, so for a lot of hedge witches and a lot of witches in the world, we do have altars, because altars hold that energy, help to manifest that energy, and also direct that energy. And a sacred space is a space where we can be ourselves and be truly and ethically in our magic, where we will truly connect and be in connection with our spirit and our energy. We have made our spaces that way to do so. So always remember to keep those areas safe and away from others if you don't want them interfering with anything, okay? It's really important. A key aspect that hedge witches and most witches believe in is protection magic. Protection is key in any form of practice, whether you are connecting with spirit or you are performing a spell or a ritual or a ceremony. Protection is key. We work in a form of magic and way that means that we are connected to all types of energy and open to all types of energy. So protection is key to keeping us safe when we are going to different realms, when we are connecting through meditation and spiritual work, when we are just generally connecting for knowledge or wisdom or help, and when we are doing our practices. Protection in magic and magical practices should be used at all times, whether this is through doing smudging and using different herbal remedies to do so, or making teas for that, or anything like that. There are so many ways to incorporate that, which I have explained and described in this part. Simple protective measures are integrated into the home, such as casting a protection spell using salts on the thresholds, making protective amulets, or using specific crystals for good vibration and security and for keeping you safe. There are many elements and things that you can use to bring protection in home. It's all about research, study, and learning is key. Another aspect that most witches are into, but specifically our hedge witches, are dream work and trance work, okay? The bedroom is a place for rest and spiritual connection through dream work. Practices might include placing the charm under your pillow for sweet dreams or recording dreams messages in your journal. Some people might set up phones and journal themselves that way, seeing what they do when they're in their sleep. Some people will wake up from a dream that they have had while they've been asleep and write these things down. Putting charms and herbs and things under your bed to help to influence your ability and your consciousness to help you to connect more. You would also use your dream work and your trance work to, gain knowledge, gain wisdom, gain guidance and help and things. We use this a lot in our craft because it's all about connection and it's all about having understanding for what we're setting out to do. Okay, and a lot of that involves in working with other energy and being connected to other energy. And we will use forms such as your dreams and using elements and charms and other things to bring that out. So dream work and trance work is really important. Again, learn about dream work and trance work. Educate yourself, get an understanding, okay? It won't be for everybody, but there will be a form that you will be able to find that can do that, okay? One of the most important aspects in any witch's life, but especially in hedge witches, is connecting with the nature cycles, okay? The home environment is tuned to the rhythms of the earth. This involves marking the wheel of the year, solar events like solstice, with indoor rituals or simply being mindful of a moon's phase. By focusing on the practical and personal, hedge witch makes magic a seamlessly daily part of their domestic life rather than a separate formal practice. Okay, so connecting with nature is really important. Connecting with nature, connecting with nature's spirits and energies, incorporating nature's energy into your home, into your practices and into your rituals are really important. Celebrating and honoring the seasons and the holidays and events that we celebrate as witches as well. These are all ways to bring in that energy of the will and of the year, okay? And to bring more power and knowing to your craft and your energy. And as I explained, focusing on your practical and personal life as a hedge witch. Okay, it makes your magic seamlessly easy, and it's something that you'll be able to bring into daily life and into your domestic life. Okay, rather than having to have it all separate. It's a formal practice, and a practice that brings much to you. Hedge witches typically use candles and crystals associated with nature, grounding, spiritual work, and protection. While personal association is key to any practice, common colours and crystals correspondences for hedge witches include. So here are some of the aspects that they would use, and you will find that with hedge witches and things like that, they will use normally colours that are incorporated to do with the natural world. Okay, and these are going to be some of the elements and things that they use. So we're going to be talking to you about color candles and what they're connected to first. Okay, so colored candles, the primary candle colors associated with hedge witch is green due to their deep connection to the earth and the herbal magic. However, other colors are also used depending on the specific intention, ritual, and spell that they are casting on that day. Okay, so we're going to tell you about a few of them. So you've got your green, which is for your abundance, growth, prosperity, luck, health, nature, and balance. Something that hedge witches believe in a lot. Okay, they believe in all these things, and these are elements and ways that they will help you if you need it. Another one is your brown candle, which is for grounding, stability, mineral matters, no, material matters, and animal communication. So brown is used for grounding, stability, material matters, and animal communication. Another key aspect that hedge witches will use are these. Okay, then you've got your white candle for purity, cleansing, clarity, and spiritual growth. It can also be used as a substitute for any other color that you may not have. So if you've not got a specific color that is linked to the association of nature, and that specific color has got something in it that you're needing to use in your spell or work, you can use a white candle and just write the name of the color that you're wanting, and it will bring that energy out. Okay, but it is also used for purity and cleansing. It's used for clarity and for your spiritual growth, learning you to grow in your wisdom and in your knowledge and in your craft. Okay, then you've got purple and violet, which is another color which is to do with spiritual development. Now, all witches need to have spiritual development and understanding. Also, it helps you to understand intuition, thought, feelings, and anesthetics that we have. Okay, so these are all important. Physic abilities, purple and violet are also associated to our physic abilities. The abilities that we use every day, whether this is seeing, talking, and connecting with spirit, or being able to heal, or being able to do all sorts of different things. Okay, physic abilities is another one, and is also associated with divination, which is a key aspect of hedge witch riding or crossing the hedge into the spiritual world and realm. Okay, so purple and violet are very key and very important, and these colors are more associated to your spiritual development, your intuitions, using your abilities, and divination for communication and connection to land, to spirit, to energy, and to yourself. Okay, then you have blue, which brings in peace, healing, wisdom, and communication. This color is also useful for calming the mind during meditation or spirit work. So you could put a blue candle on as well, just to bring that calming energy into your home when you're wanting to meditate and you're wanting to connect, or even when you're wanting to communicate and connect with spirit. You can put a blue candle on as well as a purple or a violet one, and it will help you to be able to do that. And yes, it brings peace, healing, wisdom, and communication. Okay, so this is another key aspect for hedge witches, but also any type of witch, really. We all need to have that aspect in our craft to be able to be who we are. Okay, and the next one is black. Now, black candles are really important because they bring in protection and banishing negative energy, okay? Which is important when working with the spiritual realms. As a practitioner and as somebody that has abilities and works and connects with all types of energy and spirits all of my life, black candles are something that I find very important to have, along with white candles as well. They can bring protection as well, but black protection candles are key. Okay, they bring the energy protection. You can use them to banish and remove any negative and unwanted and ungood energies as well, so they are used for that a lot. And that is important in this type of practice, because the hedge witch very much communicates, travels between worlds. She is very connected to land, to energy, and to all things. So protection is key. Okay, but protection is key in any aspect of magical work and any type of witch that you are. So bear that in mind. So next we're going to be moving on to some crystals that you may find a hedge witch using. Just give me 2 minutes, guys. I do like to have some music when I'm doing, because it's really important for me. Keeps that energy. So the next part is crystals. Hedge witches often incorporate natural stones into their practices, choosing crystals that enhance their connection to nature, offer protection during spirit work, or aid in grounding, healing, and other spiritual significances they may be using. Okay, so some of the crystals are black tourmaline, known as an excellent guardian stone. It provides protection against negative energy during spiritual travel, hedge riding, and helps with grounding in reality. Okay, so it's good for all aspects to do with keeping away negative and unwanted energy that's not good. Then you have green aventurine, which is associated with the heart chakra. It is used for general luck, abundance, and a strong connection to nature. Green aventurine is really amazing for connecting with nature and connecting with the natural world energies. Okay, it's also really good for bringing in abundance, money, and things like that. Luck, obviously, very, very good for all of that. And it is also associated with your heart chakra as well. Then you've got amethyst. Valued for its soothing energy, it helps with intuition, spiritual awareness, and meditation, which is critical to the hedge witch practice. Amethyst is most definitely a stone that most hedge witches and most witches will have, because it is a stone that allows us to be able to communicate, to connect to other energy. It also helps us to be able to come into our states of minds when we're doing our things like our spiritual awareness and meditations and things. And it is a stone that is soothing and calming and helps you to be relaxed so that you can be clear-minded when you're doing these things. And as a hedge witch, or any type of witch, but definitely hedge witch, this stone is a must-have in any witch's list. Then you've got clear quartz, known as the master healer. It is a versatile stone that can amplify the energy of other crystals and intuition. A lot of hedge witches and other witches will use the clear quartz as an energy barrier to enhance and to bring out energy of other crystals that bring significant healing. It's a master healer because it connects its healing energy with other healing energy of other crystals to bring what you'll need into your practice when you're trying to do it on yourself or do it to somebody you know, or maybe you're somebody that works with customers and that's what you're planning on doing. You've done education and courses into that. Then this would be a stone that would be really good for you to have, because it is a healer, but also because it enhances other healing stones and energy. Then you've got moss agate, a stone of nature and the earth. It is often used by green hedge witches to connect with plant spirits and natural cycles. So yes, moss agate is used for you connecting with the natural cycles of the world, the wheel of the year, to connect with the seasons. So when you're wanting specific information, knowledge, and opening to those seasons, you would use your moss agate to connect and to do that and to know what your path forward for that time is. Okay, but it is also connected to the earth and to nature, which is something that is key to most witches. Okay, nature is important to all witches, but most definitely to the hedge witch. Okay, so moss agate is a really good stone to have because it's a natural and direct connection to nature and to earth. And remember that in nature and earth there are spirit. Every plant, tree, and natural material that you see around you has a spirit and an energy that you need to be communicating and connecting with to have a fully understanding relationship and to fully understand what it brings. Okay, so you're always forever going to be using and working with energy and connecting with it. So it's really good to have stones that can help you do that, and moss agate is one. Then you've got moonstone, useful for intrusion, protection, and working with lunar cycles, which are often observed in hedge witchcraft. Hedge witches will use the moon phases very much for their crafts, as we all know as witches as well. You know, different moon phases represent different forms of magic, ritual, and working. Okay, so a moonstone is a stone that is really good for intuition and picking up on things that we need to know. It's really good to keep us protected and keep us safe when we're doing our workings. And it's really good to connect with the energy of our sister moon, bringing in that aspect of her energy, whether she's in full, crescent, crone, whatever cycle she is in. Moonstone is a crystal to use to connect with her, to help bring the priority of spells and rituals that you intend on doing on that time. Then you've got obsidian, okay, a strong protection stone that helps in deep self insight and stability. Okay, so this stone is absolutely amazing for protection. Every witch, every spiritual practitioner should have some obsidian. Okay, it's really good for protection. It helps you to be able to have a more deep self insight and understanding of yourself. So if you're wanting to understand yourself, if you're wanting to connect with yourself more deeply in a spiritual way, then obsidian would be really good. And it also brings that balance and stability into your life, keeping things where it should be. Okay, so it's a really good stone to have. So yeah, look these stones up, look at more representations of what they stand for, because there are far more than what I've read out here to you. I just gave you the basic bits and the most important. But what's really important to understand, that ultimately the most important factor in hedge witch practice is their personal association and intrusion with the tools they use, their connection to the tools, how they work with the tools, having that understanding for their tools, knowing the significant power, energy that tool brings to them. Hedge witches find it really important to understand everything that they work with and have that connection with them through energy and through knowing. Okay, they very much are about that sort of thing. Hedge witches are sometimes known to connect with various gods and goddesses with a strong atmosphere of figures associated to nature, healing, and the liminal and witchcraft. Okay, so hedge witches very much will work with energies, deities that are strong, that are associated to the natural world and to nature. They will use spirit energies that help with healing and walking and being in the liminal spaces and realms. Okay, and also just in association to witchcraft in all. And some of these deities to use as a hedge witch are Hecate. Hecate is my main deity and goddess that I work. She is absolutely phenomenal. She walks both on light and dark, but not light and dark as in good and evil, but light and dark as in power. Okay, so Hecate is really good. Then you've got Morrigan and you've got Bridget. Some other deities are Pan and Gaia, Freya, which is Norse. You got Isis, which is Egyptian, and you got Cananos. Cananos is Celtic, and he is the god of nature. Okay, so these are energies that you can work with to help enhance your hedge witch practice. But these are also deities that are really good to use as natural witches that are connected to nature as well. Okay, you don't have to be a hedge witch to work with these deities. Most witches have links to nature. It's just that a hedge witch has a more personal and deeper connection because she's been brought or he's been brought up to be that way. Okay, so here's some information on the common deities that are used by these witches. So Hecate is the Greek goddess of witchcraft. She's absolutely amazing. She is the goddess of magic and the crossroads. She is often a central figure for witches due to her association with spells and liminal spaces and the underworld. And she is also known as the mother of witches. She is a goddess that witches follow and worship because she is associated with the craft. Okay, she's absolutely amazing. There are so many other things that she is connected to as well. But in your hedge witch way, these are the things that she would be able to communicate and connect with you and help you with. Then you've got the Morrigan, a complex Celtic goddess associated with war, fate, and sovereignty. She is also connected to shapeshifting, motherhood, and the land, making her a powerful figure for many witches. Okay, so yes, even though she is associated to war and fate, fate can be within the natural world. War doesn't necessarily mean people hurting each other and things like that. There can be war in other ways. Okay, so she's very much associated that, and that element can be in many things. Okay, sovereignty, being true, being pure, and being yourself. She'll learn you to be your true self. Okay, but she is also connected to shapeshifting, which is said to be something that the hedge witches do. She's also associated to motherhood. Now, motherhood to a hedge witch and to any type of female witch is really, really important. Okay, and she's associated to land, natural world. So she would be a powerful figure and energy to be able to work with and associated again with witches. Then you've got beautiful Bridget, an Irish goddess associated with pottery, healing, smithcraft. She is often invoked for her connection to fire, spring, and as a protector. So Bridget would be a really good energy to call upon for protection, for your connections and energy to fire and spring factors of nature. Okay, obviously fire is an element that is associated to nature and to the world, and then you've also got your connections to spring. She's an amazing protector. You can use her for healing as well, and a lot of hedge witches will do healing, whether this is healing for people, animals, or for nature. They do that a lot. Pottery, crafting, artwork, things like that. Now, as a hedge witch, we may make things and bring things to light to bring a better way into our craft. Okay, so crafting and pottery, making things can also be a way to put energy in. So she would be an amazing goddess to associate to all of those things. Bridget is absolutely amazing as well, and is another goddess that I work with. Cananos is the next one. He is a god, and he is a Celtic god of the wild, known as the horned god, representing the masculine divine in nature. So if you're needing that strength, that power, that path to get to where you need to get, Cananos would be the energy to call upon. Okay, he is also associated to the horn god. He is the horn god. Okay, he has the antlers of a deer. Okay, he is the representation of the masculine divine in nature. He is what is said to connect with our mother goddess to bring life, growth, and fertility. Okay, so he is a god associated to nature. So if you're wanting to understand nature, you're wanting to be connected to nature deeply, if you're wanting to have an understanding for the rhythms and the way of nature, Kananos is your god to go to. Then you have got Pan, which is the Greek god of wild. Okay, he is associated to shepherds and nature. He is also honoured for his connections to the wildness and its energy. Now, sometimes Kananos and Pan are associated to being the same thing, but for a lot of us, we see them as two completely different energies. Okay, so Pan, very much like Kananos, is a god of the wild. Okay, and nature, and you can communicate with him just as you would with Kananos, asking him for wisdom, guidance, and help in working and being more connected to nature. He is honoured a lot through his connection to the wildness and its energy, so you could help and call out to him to be helped to connect in your energy and entwine your energy with nature's energy. Okay, so it'll be a really good deity and energy to work with. Then you've got Gaia, the Greek predominantly goddess of the earth, considered the earth mother and a primary source of life. Okay, Gaia in general is Mother Earth. Nature lives upon Mother Earth. Okay, Mother Nature and Mother Earth are associated. Okay, so Gaia is the Greek mythology of the Earth goddess, the Earth Mother. Okay, so you would be able to go to her and connect with her through most of the things that I've just explained to you with these other deities. She is there and can work with you in all of these aspects, but she will also learn you to connect deeply to the earth world itself, understand its rhythms, its ways, its connections, understanding its universe, its stars, its solar systems, helping you to be spiritually connected the way you should be. Okay, then another one to come across is Freya. She is the Norse goddess of love, beauty, and war. Now, obviously, there is a lot of love and beauty in nature. There are a lot of things that you can call to her for. So, bringing out that love, that beauty. She can also help with removing things that are not good, such as war aspects and stuff like that. Like I said, this doesn't have to be war aspects in such as people fighting against each other. There is war in our natural world, yeah, where two totally different types of energy are constantly trying to fight against her. You've got human and you've got the spirit form of them. Okay, there's a constant war to do with nature because it's not respected or loved enough. Okay, so she'll be a really good energy to come to bring that protective warrior energy out, that protector of nature and things like that. Okay, and she is a Norse goddess. Okay, she will also be really good to bring that love, that beauty into nature, keep that energy flowing, and keep Mother Nature happy. Okay, then you've got Isis. Isis is an Egyptian goddess often associated with magic, healing, and motherhood. Healing is a very key factor in Hedgewitchery. Okay, um, magic. Obviously, we all use magic, so magic is a key factor. Isis will be able to educate you and give you knowledge into the magic and how to use it and how to work with it. She can give you knowledge and help into how to do healing, and she can also learn you about motherhood and the cycles of motherhood, which are very much incorporated in nature itself too. Okay. Then you've got Diana and Artemis. These are other ones, okay? This is a Greek and Roman goddess of the hunt and the moon connected to the wild. So Diana, Artemis are the Greek and Roman goddesses that are associated with hunt and animal. Okay, so they can learn you about animal sources. They can learn you about the importance of what the hunt means and how it's associated to nature. They can also help you to connect to the wild, to connect to energy, to connect to deities of wild. But they also can help you to connect, to have understanding and connections with the moon itself as well. Okay, so really good energy to connect with that. Then you've got Odin, which is the Norse god. He is another one that I work with, and he is a god of wisdom, pottery, magic, and known for his pursuit of knowledge. So Odin is a really good energy to go to when you're wanting to learn knowledge and wisdom, okay, about the natural world, about the world, about magic in general. Okay, he is also It is also associated to pottery and craft and artwork, so doing that. And Odin is also associated to divination, okay? So if, like most us witches, but the Hedgewitch, we very much rely on key connection to spirit, energy, and realms. And sometimes we will use tools such as cards, runes, and things like that. Now, Odin is very much associated to divination, especially things like runes and stuff like that, cards, stuff like that. So it'd be a really good energy for you to connect to if you're thinking about learning to work with spiritual tools. It will help you to bring out to that. Anubis is the Egyptian god of the afterlife, often associated with the liminal spaces between life and death. Okay, now this is very true, and this means like in the liminal spaces between life and death, the worlds between the living and the dead. Okay, so these worlds are normally your nature and your natural worlds and things like that. Okay, so a lot of people, when they're wanting to associate and connect with the dead, they will walk between the light living and the dead realms, okay, to get where they want to get. So cannabis would be very good for that. But again, all of these gods and goddesses, you need to do your research, study, and education on before you think about working with them. There are a lot more to them and how to work with them than what I am reading out to you. I'm just giving you the factors I think is important. Then you've got the triple goddess, a concept in Wicca and in the neo-pagan paths that include the maiden, the mother, and the crone, the aspects of the divine feminine and motherhood, okay? And that fine feminine motherhood is in nature as well. Mother Earth and Mother Nature are feminine, okay? And they have these aspects and they very much stand for the energies of female, okay? So the triple goddess would be a very good aspect to call upon, a deity to call upon when you're wanting to connect to nature, when you're wanting to understand the cycles of nature, when you're wanting to understand what it means life, death, and rebirth, because mother, maiden, and crone represent those responses, guys. Okay, so a really good goddess energy to work with. Then you've got the horned god. A concept is some in some traditions that represents the masculine divine, often prepared with the triple goddess. So you've got the horned god. Some people call this Cananos, or they'll call the Oak King or the Green Man, things like that. Horned gods are mostly associated with nature traditions. Okay, so if you're wanting to have the masculine energy, learn how to define power and strength, to have deep connection and understanding for nature and how to work with it correctly, then the horned god, the triple goddess, and some of the other energies that I have spoke to you about today would be really good ones to work with. But do your education, your teaching, and your studying first is key. And make sure that you write down anything that you learn, you pick up, or you get while you're doing this. Okay, it's key to write down everything that you do, learn, see, experience when you're learning your craft. These will all be key factors that you can go back on, and these can be education you can pass on to others. So the other thing that was really important to for hedge witches is obviously their connection to the 8 Sabbats. Okay, but just the Sabbats are celebrated on the wheel of the year, and it's important to them to follow a cycle of nature and to mark the changing seasons. This is really important for hedge witches and for any type of witch that is connected to nature and things anyway. These holidays include the 4 lesser Sabbats, which are Austria, Beltane, Lammas, and Samain, or Samhain. And for the greater Sabbats, it's the winter solstice, the spring equinox, and the summer solstice, and the autumn equinox. Okay, so as with any witch tradition, it can vary. So there isn't a single answer for all hedge witches. Okay, every witch is different, every witch practice is different. So your education, studying, and learning is key. Okay, this will help you to understand this, but you do need to understand about the 8 Sabbats as a witch. You do need to learn about nature's cycles and the will. These are all very important in craft faith. Okay, so really important that you do that. So talking to you a little bit more in detail about the lesser Sabbats. So you've got the Imbolc, which is also known as Candlemas, which is celebrated normally on February the 1st, but this can vary depending in what part of the world you're living in. So please make sure you look that up. It is a festival of fire and is often dedicated to the goddess Bridget. Okay, so Imbolc is really important to the hedge witch. All Sabbats are important to the hedge witch because they're all nature based one way or another. Okay, so for somebody that's wanting to become a hedge witch, you need to learn about your Sabbats and stuff like that, and the wheel of the year, the turn of the wheel, and all of the other aspects that associate to it. Then you've got Beltane, which is also known as May Eve, which is celebrated on the 1st, or depending on where you are in the world. Again, this goes to all of them. It really does depend on what part of the world you're in. The dates may vary slightly, but Beltane, May Eve, is celebrated on May the 1st. It marks the beginning of the summer and is associated with fertility and fire. Now, fertility is something that is very prominent in nature, and it's all about growth and birth and opening. Okay, fire is an element associated to the natural world as well. So Beltane is a really important one and really signifies the energy and the understanding of the natural world. Lammas is normally associated in August or maybe another date depending on where you are. It is the harvest festival that honors the god Lur. Okay, so with Lammas, it's all about the harvest, creating a harvest, opening in that harvest, bringing in growth and abundance and strength. And, you know, it's all about associating with the gods and goddesses and energies that are associated to that path and that Sabbath as well. And again, very much connected to nature and the way that nature grows and bears at that time. Then you've got Samhain, okay, which is celebrated on the 31st of October, okay, which is Halloween. It is a time to honor the dead, to reflect on the past, and to prepare for the cold and the winter season that is upon us. Okay, so Samhain is a very important time, especially for hedge witches, as hedge witches are very well known for connecting to the dead, okay, and spirit. So this is a season they very much do communicate and connect with. They will reflect on the things that they have gained and the things that they maybe need to do better in. And they also use this time of year to bring and to gather in all of the herbs and things that they have grown over the year and bring that in ready to use and to benefit from for the winter seasons. Then you've got the greater Sabbats, which is Yule, which is the winter solstice, and is also associated to Christmas. This celebration starts around the 21st. This is the shortest day of the year and marks the return of Brother Sun. Okay, now Brother Sun again is part of the natural world. He is part of the sky. He is energy that is used very much in craft. We very much rely on the energy of Brother Sun, and we rely on the energy of Sister Moon. Okay, so Brother Sun is celebrated in the Yule season. We celebrate where he rested and he died, and we're now rejoicing and celebrating his return and coming back to start this year again. Okay, um, he marks where the shortest days will become the longest. You know, where we're getting short days and we're getting long nights, the long days are going to start to come back, and spring's going to be here, and things are going to grow, new beginnings, new life, abundance, all these things that we need that are good for us. Then you've got Ostora, or spring equinox, which is celebrated around the 21st, depending on where you are. This marks the balance between day and night and is associated with new beginnings. Another amazing Sabbath, very much does influence and show the marks of balance between day and night, so it becomes more equal and more together. And it is also associated with new beginnings, new ideas, new plans, and new needs. Okay, so it's really is a really good season for you to manifest what you desire and you wish to bring into your future year that is ahead of you. Then you've got midsummer, or the summer solstice, which is celebrated around the 21st of June, depending on where you are. This is the longest day of the year and is associated with fire and the peak of the sun's power. Brother Sun coming to his strongest power again, becoming that true God and ruler and creator of the sky. He is coming back into his peak. He is strong, and he has gained his energy from the love and the abundance of our earth and our world and us. Okay, it is also known to be the longest day of the year, so we get to enjoy a more longer day, enjoying the sun, the heat, the warmth, and the goodness that Brother Sun brings us. Okay, so all of these things are associated to nature and are really important, especially to hedge witches. Okay, they very much use the moon and sun energy, as most witches do. Then you've got Morburn, which is the autumn equinox, which is celebrated around September the 21st normally, depending on where you are. And this marks the second harvest and the balance between day and night. Okay, so again, balance, everything seems to be stable and in one place. This is the second harvest. So the first harvest is where you're growing and you're cropping the seeds and you're manifesting these things to grow. Your second harvest is the harvest where everything is growing, everything is in its strongest element and power. And then your third one is normally the one that is around sowing and stuff like that, which is your third harvest, your last harvest, which is where you celebrate all that you have gathered over that year, whether this is food, drink, whether this is things in your life, intentions, reality. When I say growing and abundance and I'm saying all these things, I'm not just saying harvests as in food and drink. I mean harvests as in your intentions and way in life, what you've brought into your craft, how you've improved your life, what you could make better. It's about many things, okay, guys, and it's something that you really do need to have more of an understanding. And to become a witch, any type of witch, you really do need to educate, research, and study to understand all aspects. So here are just some important notes that I feel that you need to understand as well. So important notes that I feel to share with you. Local traditions. Witchcraft is a local tradition, a practice, but the practice can vary. For example, those in the South Hemisphere celebrate these festivals at different times of the year than others in the North and stuff. Okay, that's why I'm saying it's really important to look at dates that will be associated to the Northern and the Southern Hemisphere. Okay, to work out when your date would be. It's also because it's important to look into your folklore, look into what sorts of plants, energies, and things are around your area, what sorts of energies are most known to be associated with in your area. All of this is really important for you to look into, because this will amplify your craft and your connection to it as well, okay? And to the energies that you're working with. Another keynote and aspect is connecting to nature. As a hedge witch, or as most witches, it's really important to have an understanding for the natural world and the wild world, okay? And for hedge witches, connection to nature is really important, as well as the Sabbats. These are ways for them to connect with the cycles of nature and the changing seasons, to connect with other energies and deities that they connect with. Nature is a very important aspect to them, and it's something that they very much love, honor, and respect. And they use the natural world and nature and other things as their way to work in their craft. And a lot of normal witches that are not hedge witches are the same. Another thing that's really important is personal adaptation. The most important Sabbats are those that hold personal meaning for the individual witch or hedge witch in this association, okay? It's really important to understand that it's not just about casting spells and bringing in the greatest energy and power and being your best. It's about having honor and respect and understanding for the world, for how it works, and it needs to be personal to you and to your deities and to your energy that you work with. Make it personal. Put your own decorations on there. Make things for your deities. Make things for those Sabbats. Bring things that are meaningful and connect you and your energy with the other side, okay? They really like that sort of thing when you make an effort to show your honor and respect to them. So doing things like that, like making things, buying their favorite treats in, getting cakes, drinks, things like that, all these things will please your deities and energies. Obviously, the hedge witches are also known for connecting with spirits and energies, but also energies and spirits of trees, animals, and all things of the natural world. They connect to any form of spirit and energy connected to the natural world, whether this is an animal or a person living, or if it's a tree, a plant, whatever it is, they connect to this energy. So it's really important to understand about connecting to spiritual energies, connecting to energies of the natural world, learning and understanding how to feel, sense, and know things when they bring you messages and signs, learning about different signs that you may see in nature. For instance, feathers, bones, crystals. What does certain trees represent? What do certain flowers represent? All of this is really key for any witch, but especially for hedge witches, okay? So having knowledge, getting books, getting things that you can educate and read about and get more insight into is really important. Another thing that they find really important is that they write their own magical scripts, spells, and rituals, making their own stamp on their secret practice. You will find that with hedge witches and a lot of these other witches that really are natural, solitary, and eclectic, like myself, we do not follow scriptures of others. Yes, we follow rules, as in, the threefold rules, the read, these sort of things. Yes, we do. We have to as witches, yeah. But when it comes to actually performing our own magic, writing our own spells, writing our own rituals, scriptures, and prayers and things, we do that ourselves. You've got things online where you can find based, structured scripts, and you can change that and amplify that to how you want it to sound. There are templates and things you can find online to help you to be able to do that. But if you are somebody that is pretty creative like myself, then you'd probably be able to write a script yourself. It's all about just enhancing and bringing that energy in, incorporating those energies into your scriptures, incorporating your love, your honor, and your respect of them, the understanding of the Sabbaths and things that you may be connecting to at the time. Write your scripts so that they're meaningful, personal to your faith and to that time that you're celebrating. Okay? Head witches normally will pass their knowledge and wisdom on to close family members to continue their ways and practices of the future. We all grow old in the end, and even though we will still do things for ourselves, we will not be in that place again where we can do education or anything anymore. So that's why it's really key to journal and to write everything down. Whether you write them in books, you should always write it in books and stuff, but also videos and things like that, so that when your younger generations grow up and are following your path, they have books and things that they can continue to use and add to, and they can also give it to their children. It will be a book that and a way that will be handed down in your family for generations to come. And I think that's such a magical and beautiful way. Most hedge witches and some other sorts of witches are always normally into things like arts and crafts and baking, making things, creating things, putting energy into those things, using and doing domestic chores. These are their places of magic and manifestation and intent. Okay, so magic, domestic chores, baking, crafts, and art are all forms and ways that hedge witches and a lot of other witches like to use, because it brings that true energy out, that true connection, and it's an easy way for us to be able to put that intent and that emotion that we're wanting at that time to put out to others. So my last parts, guys. So research, study and understanding is important. Look into the folklore, look into the different beliefs in your area, look into the times and dates that your Sabbaths and celebrations may fall, because in the northern and southern hemispheres they are slightly different. Okay, so always look into those things. Look into how to work with energy, how to work with nature, how to connect. Look into how to use different abilities. Things like this is key if you're going to be wanting to become a hedge witch. Some of you may already have these gifts and talents, but you need to learn to amplify and work with them. You can do that through doing your research and studying, buying books on those specific things, and even watching people that you follow and you respect. But remember, do not take everything that somebody says and make it your own. Do your own magic. You can take advice, you can take knowledge from books, people in your own way, yes, but don't be like them. Make it your own. For instance, you might come to me and I might say to you about certain things and tell you how to do a protection thing. And you may look at that protection spell and be like, right, I like how she did that, but I would change that herb, and that herb, and I'd put that one in. That's because that's what they're telling you to use. So you go with what your instinct and your intention is telling you, okay? You do not need to follow a guideline of others. You can make it your own. Your deities and energies that you work with will always make you aware of what they think you need to be doing. It's all about learning to see, hear, and feel it. And I don't mean hear as in they start talking to you directly, learning to listen to the voice in your head, learning to sense, see, and feel things, and know when things are right and wrong. Looking for signs in the world itself. All our world holds different signs, numbers, different objects to do with nature, such as birds, animals. It may be things associated to the animals like feathers. It may be crystals or stones. Everything in nature has a spiritual significance and importance. Okay, so learning about those things are really important, and those signs are always being left by the higher and divine power for us to see and to take knowledge from. So hedge witchcraft is becoming very popular and growing fast. Hedge witchcraft is a very personal and secret practice done from home and in nature and the natural world itself. A hedge witch likes balance in their life and craft. They are very hands-on in anything that they do. They are natural in all they do. They rely only on their own intentions and knowing. They are always seeking to grow in their wisdom every day through their practices. Their deities, if they work with them, and the most and deities if they work with them. So all of these are really important. And the most important tool they focus on is oneself, which is yourself. Okay. They know we are tools for connection and use it in their practices daily. So remember that we are all tools. Even if you think you do not have abilities, we all are gifted abilities. It's learning to channel into that energy, understand that ability, and incorporating it. So, you know, little and often makes you greater. So always listen to yourself. Yourself is your best tool. Okay. And you will learn to know when things are right and when things are wrong, when things haven't worked out, when things have. You will learn to do that as your craft grows. Don't run before you can walk. Okay. Let it come to you naturally. It doesn't matter how long it takes you to get to that level. What matters is that you do it correctly and safely, and that you truly connect the way that you should. Okay. It's really important. And always keeping yourself protected is key. So, does this practice connect to you? Do you feel a calling to it then? Research, study, learn, and practice. Trust in yourself. You have to in all magical practices, but definitely in hedge witchcraft, as you're often solitary and electric in practice and often working in connecting with other energy. So if these things radiate to you and you feel that it's for you, then you could be a hedge witch, guys, and do your research and your studying. And I would just like to say to you all that I hope that you have enjoyed this session. I hope that it's helped you to understand about the hedge witch a little bit more. It's helping you to understand that, you know, you gotta have a deep connection to be a hedge witch, to spirit, to nature, to land. You've got to be willing and open to walk your spirituality, to walk different realms, to be connected to all types of energy. But it's also really important and key to make sure that you keep protected at times as well, because protection is needed in any form of magic or anything that's spiritual. Okay, it's really, really important. And just to enjoy it. Enjoy when you are researching, learning, and studying. Enjoy it. Allow it to grow within you. Do not fear it. Do not question it. Just go with the flow. Do not rush it. Let it come at its own pace. Mother Nature, Mother Earth, and our universe knows what it wants us to happen. So it seems to cut out every now and again. It ain't done that the whole time, but it did then. So yeah, just be true to yourself. Be willing to learn, to feel, to see, to hear. Do your research, do your studying, look into all of the beliefs, look into your beliefs in your area, look into the life in nature in your area, plants, trees, what sorts of animals, things like that. Look at what they significantly mean spiritually. Folklore, all of this stuff is really, really important. This helps you to become more connected to your witchcraft and to you as a witch, okay? And especially in hedge witchery, you need to be really connected in all of these elements and aspects, as it's just not going to work for you, okay, guys? So do your best. And I just want to thank you all for joining me on this show. And I hope that you have enjoyed learning about the hedge witch. And I hope that it gets you started in wanting to walk your path and educate yourself in the path that you're maybe wanting to take in witchcraft, okay? And don't forget to tune in to my next show, which will be me talking to you about a goddess, okay? So we're going to be talking about Freya, the goddess, next on one of my next shows. So until then, I hope that you have enjoyed. I hope you took knowledge and wisdom. This video is going to be up, so you can come back and watch this. You can share it out, do whatever you please. And just know that just be yourself and be your own magic and your own power, and be willing to learn. That is what's key about becoming a witch. You need to be willing to be open to learning and growing and being connected. We do need to be connected to be able to connect to things that we do. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I hope that it's brought you lots of knowledge, understanding, and that you understand a little bit more about the Hedge Witch and her ancient and magical ways. She is a truly amazing way in a witch, and they are male and female practitioners, not just one. So if you think that this path is for you, get researching and studying, guys, and good luck for your adventures into your new craft and your new way of life. And from Willow and from all of my beautiful energies, we bid you a good night, and we bid you a merry parting and merry me when we see you again. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you all very, very soon. And have a pleasant and lovely evening. And from me, blessed be. And talk to you all very, very soon. Blessings. Keep being witchy, keep being real, keep being you.